Hey everybody, how you doing? Mark here, sitting in my garage, wanting to make a video because a lot of people have been asking me a lot of questions about my bike, and it dawned on me I've never really done an intro video for Angel, my 2007 Kawasaki Vulcan 1600 Classic. That's a lot to say. People have been watching my videos and they're asking, what's this and what's that? Where'd you get that? What brand is this? So I'm just going to go over my bike and tell you a little bit about it. Okay, now this is called a 1600. It's not quite 1600 cc's. It's like, I think it's like 1552 cc's, but they just round it up to say 1600. That means that it's a 95 cubic inch engine. It is liquid cooled, it is not air cooled, and the whole engine is actually liquid cooled. It's not just the oil or something like that. So the entire engine is liquid cooled. It has a 5-speed transmission, not a 6, and it is a shaft drive, not a belt or chain. The gas tank holds 5.3 gallons, I think, something like that. I know it's a little more than 5. But I don't think it's quite 5.5, so I'm thinking 5.3. I know that the manufacturer, Kawasaki, says to put at least 90 octane in the tank. Around here, I do 89 octane. That's the mid-range for our octanes around here. So it goes from like 97, or from 87 to 89, all the way up to, I think it's like 93 octane. And so my octane level seems to be just below 90, but that's the way I go. I don't do the high-end premium gas of 93 octane. The overall length of the bike is 98.6 inches. The width of it, so from one side to one side, and I think they're counting the handlebars and stuff as the full width, is 40.9 inches. The height, and I don't know if they included the mirrors or not in that measurement, or if it just to the top of the handlebars. That was 44.5 inches. The seat height was 27.4 inches. The wheelbase from axle to axle is 66.1 inches. All right, so that's basically what I'm going to tell you. I mean, I could go into other measurements and stuff about the bike, but that's primarily the stuff I'm going to focus on, is just the base stuff. I did pay, I think it was right around $11,000 for the bike. And when I got this, I actually had 3 different bikes in mind. I had the Kawasaki, I had a Suzuki in mind. It was the C90. And then I also had the Harley Fat Boy, I think it was what it was called. It was either Fat Boy or Fat Bob. I'll put it down here at the bottom. I'm actually thinking it's a Fat Bob is what I was looking at. Basically, the Harley was taken out of contention just because of the price. It was like almost $5,000 more because I wanted the 105th edition. It had that nice black and bronze or copper color tone to it. It looked really nice, short of, I kept on going through my head that it looked like a Duracell battery, but I mean, it was just a really nice color combination. I would have liked to have gotten it, but yeah, the Harley had to be taken out because it was like $5,000 more. So sorry, Harley guys, I just couldn't afford it. The C90 that I was looking at, that had basically all the same things, but the cooling system, they have a radiator, but the cooling was only for the oil. It didn't circulate through the entire engine. It just cooled off the oil. So I kind of thought that that was a tick against the C90. Prices were fairly comparable. I think it was a little more expensive than this, but not by much. I think. I can't remember. It's been so long ago. So anyway, I want to go across the bike and show you what I've done to it. I'm also going to show you real quick while I get set up for my next shots and stuff. This is what a stock Kawasaki 1600 Classic looked like, okay? So here are those images. All right, the first few things that I've done when I first got the bike is that, one, I knew I was going to be taking it on some decently good-sized trips. I wanted to go to the Vulcan Riders Association rallies and stuff like that. And I wanted to go and do some camping. So I figured I was going to spend some time on the interstate. So I got myself a windshield. Now, this is actually an OEM product from Kawasaki that was designed for this bike. And in fact, this oval right here on the windshield actually has the winged V logo in it. It's actually engraved into the metal here. So the flying V up on the windshield itself is actually something that I did. I took my Dremel and I etched in the flying V, and it's on the back side of the windshield. So if you actually reach back here, you can feel the coarseness of it. One last thing about this windscreen is that the screen itself actually came in 3 different sizes, a small, medium, and large. And I thought I had ordered a large, but I think I ended up getting a medium. So when I'm riding, a lot of the wind comes up over the screen and kind of hits me right into the forehead. So when I'm riding, my head kind of gets bounced around by turbulence. But it's just something I've lived with over the years, and I'm not about to change. I don't think I would like it if the windshield was any bigger, and I don't think I'd like it if it was any smaller either. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is. All right, the next thing I actually did to my bike, and I knew I wanted to get more than just a headlight here, because these were my next thing I added, were my auxiliary lights. And it's this whole light bar system that I bought. Again, I think it was an actual Kawasaki OEM aftermarket product. I think the original light bar just had the blinkers and it was sticking out to the side. And now I've got my blinkers, I got my auxiliary lights, got a headlight, and then of course I lit these up separately, so it's on a different switch, so I can ride with these on or off depending on the conditions I'm riding in. Sometimes I've been caught in fog, and when you have more light, driving through fog sucks. So I wanted to put it on a switch so I can turn them off if I'm in that kind of situation. So yeah, these are actually on their own separate switch. All right, so just moving a little farther down now. Next thing I got were these engine guards, highway bars, whatever you want to call them. It was a pretty simple bolt-on process. I've got a bolt here and a bolt here on both sides, of course. So it's just a 4-bolt system that holds this on. And then of course I also put on some highway pegs so I can kick my feet up a little bit, be a little more comfortable while I'm riding. Okay, moving down the line a little bit further now, I'm actually up on my handlebars, and I've changed a couple of things. I've changed the mirrors, I've changed the fluid reservoir covers for the brake cylinder and for the clutch cylinder as well. And then I've also added a ram mount for holding my GoPro. Just did that in the last few years when I started doing all the YouTube stuff. I've got a ram mount system on the front of my bars to hold my phone so I can use my phone's GPS. The other thing that I did is I've actually changed out the grips, and this is actually the second set of grips I've got, and took the first grips probably almost 8 years, I think, before I actually changed the original grips. Now I did at one point have heated grips on here. The grips themselves weren't heated. There was a heat coil pack that was glued to the handlebars underneath the grips, and then that would heat up and then in turn heat up the grips. I have since taken those heat packs off, so I do not have heated grips anymore. Now, when I first started buying my mirrors and the reservoir covers, I wanted to go with this live to ride, ride to live type theme on it. So I actually had to replace, it's actually a story because I had to order one set of mirrors so I could have this stem. And then this mirror here actually has a receiver, so it goes with this type of free floating stem system. So I can move this all up and down the stem wherever I needed it. I'm a big guy, and so I needed those mirrors to be out as far away from me as possible. So I got an 8-inch stem to push those mirrors out as far as I could, so I could see around my big broad shoulders. Then here's the top of the reservoir covers, the master cylinders, whatever you want to call them. And they had a free spirit on here, had the eagle design and all that stuff. So yeah, I like these. They're really nice. And they've held up well over the years. They're not really rusting or anything like that. Now these grips that I have, these are Kuryakin grips, and they're called Transformers because of this little medallion in the center here. It came with 3 different versions of medallions. There's the cross, and then over on this side, I got the little skull. And they also had like a Black Widow spider or something like that. I can't remember, and I don't know what I actually did with it to actually verify, but I think the third one was a spider logo. Also staying up on my handlebars is this contraption thing right here. This is a breakaway throttle assist system. So as I'm riding, I can just hit a button and it locks my throttle in place. Now it's not actually a cruise control, it's just a throttle lock. And then I can easily turn it off just by squeezing the brake lever, or by pushing this little tab right here, and that can also unlock it. So it's actually really quite nice. It's locked in, hit the brake, turns off, or I can just reach in with my thumb and hit it that way. So yeah, the breakaway system has actually been quite nice. I do have to make little adjustments. Like I said, it's not a cruise control, it's a throttle lock, okay? So as I'm driving down the highway and I get in the drift of a car, you know, you get that little air pocket, and all of a sudden you just zoom forward. Well, now I can throttle it down. I don't actually have to click the throttle lock off to do it. I do have enough movement. So if I lock it in for the throttle, now it's not easily moved, but I can still move it. Okay, so I can adjust it as I'm going. Okay, so moving on down to my tank here, I have taken off the Vulcan badging from the tank and put on my girls. This is my Angel. This is my Angel. Angel, Angel. And then on the other side, got my Devil, Devil, Devil. So yes, I did that on purpose. I want my Angels on my right and my Devils on my left, okay? So my whole bike is like that. Even up on my front fender, I have an Angel and Devil decal here, and the Angel's on the right side, and my Devil's on my left. Even on the back of the fender here, I have these decals, Angel with a skull. Then on the other side, on the left side, I got my Devil skull. Okay, moving a little farther down the bike here, other than removing the badge from the tank, I've really not done anything in this area, okay? The engine is 100% stock. I've never bored it out. I've never changed camshafts. I've never changed the intake. I've never changed the mufflers. Everything is stock, okay? Exhaust, stock. Intake, stock. Transmission stock, motor stock, everything's stock. Even the clutch pack and all that, it's still stock. I've never even had to change my clutch yet. And I'm coming up on 80,000 miles. Pretty sweet if you ask me. All right, let's move a little farther down. Okay, now I have had quite a few people ask me about my seat, and it's primarily because they see the backrest here and they're like, oh, what is that? Is that a Corbin, or is that a Saddleman, or what? Technically, the seat itself, both the pillion and the driver's seat, those are stock seats. The backrest here is actually from a company called Grasshopper, the Vulcan Riders Association rally that my chapter hosted back in 2016, I think it was. And they gave everybody a discount on getting a backrest put on. Now what it is, this little piece here, this tab, slides into a receiver here that uses the same screw that holds the seat down. So it's just a one screw operation on getting it installed. It was really easy. And I tell you, when I first rode with this backrest on, it was like night and day difference. It was like, holy crap, traveling long distance mileage now is going to be so much better. And it has been. See, and it just slides in. There's nothing here to hold it in or anything like that, because you sit here and you just lean up against it. That's what holds it in. All right, guys, I had to close the garage door because there's just so much light pouring in through that, and no light from the back of the garage here shooting this way. So my shots were like really dark, but then they would have big blowout areas of white. So I had to close the garage door. Okay, but anyway, let's move back a little bit farther down the bike. These are my saddlebags, and I did have to get a mount system put on. So here's the saddlebag mount system that I got. And you can see that I've got little loops here on the bags themselves, and I've got zip ties just to hold it in place so the bag doesn't flip up and around and fly around as I'm going down the road. But the saddlebags themselves are a Willie and Max. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Willie and Max. And gosh, I can't remember what the actual name of the series was, but it's got this really nice silver and gold eagle right here. I like the braiding that they put on. Now it does have the straps here, and it has a buckle that I can undo, but it's actually got a pinch clip down here. So I just need to pinch it together and it comes out. And do that, open it up. Now I've had these bags for years and years. I've had these bags for, what's it been? Probably about 12 years now. 12 out of the 15 years I've had this bike. And the reason why they still keep their shape is because inside there is a rigid plastic, almost like a cardboard, but it's made out of plastic. So it holds its shape. You know, that's solid, okay? So that's why this still holds its shape. It still looks great, and I take care of it. You guys have seen me do my leather jacket cleaning with the saddle soap. I do that to my bags as well. Actually, the last detail I want to share about these saddlebags, it's got this nice little carry handle because you can unzip the saddlebag right off of the yoke that goes underneath the seat. And then you can just carry the saddlebag into your hotel room or put it in your tent or store it away. And the part that you can't see of the yoke is under the seat, in that it's not a solid piece. It's actually two pieces being held together basically by shoestring, and you can increase and decrease the width of that yoke just by realigning the holes and putting the shoestring in and tying it up to secure it. I like that. Okay, the last thing that's actually on the bike for me to show you is my passenger backrest. Again, this was an OEM aftermarket product that Kawasaki put out. It has the flying V right here on the back. The backrest can actually be taken off with the 4 screws here. So if they get dirty, you need to clean them or something like that. Or you maybe you need to change out the foam. You can take it off. There's actually a zipper along this bottom edge, and you can take out that foam and replace it. So yeah, it's kind of a nice little thing. It's not very tall, and I do wish it was slightly taller, but you know, I'll take what I can get. And now the last thing I have to show you on the bike here is the luggage rack itself. Again, this is an OEM aftermarket product from Kawasaki, and it mounts in 3 locations. It uses the 2 mounting screws for the license plate bracket back here, which kind of makes it hard. You got to take off the license plate to get to the bolts to get it off. And then it uses the pillion seat screw right back here as the 3rd mounting point. And I tell you, this is nice and strong. It's really thick metal. I like it a lot. And I've got a couple other things to show you guys, but they're not actually on the bike, but just a few things that I've purchased over the years, and I just use them every so often when I need to. So the last thing I want to show you guys are the couple little things that I've purchased for the bike, but I don't always keep it on the bike, okay? Like this big, huge trunk bag. I don't drive around with this thing on the bike all the time. You know, that'd be way too much wind drag for me just to putt around town and run up to Janesville or go see mom and dad or something like that. So of course I take it off when I don't need it. Now this is an X Element bag, and again, I can't remember the series, but I don't think they make this product anymore. They might make things that are similar, but not the exact same. Now you remember my Willie and Max saddlebags have that nice eagle on the side, and that's why I got this, is because it's got a nice big eagle right here on the back. It also comes with this just roll bag, and it's really cool, but I don't use it all that often. I've been packing lighter and lighter as I've been learning more and more on how to pack my motorcycle, that I rarely ever actually use this roll top anymore. Occasionally I might, but for the most part, no. I can get everything I need in this bag and my 2 saddlebags. So here's a back look of the saddlebag. Yeah, it's a little dusty and stuff. I haven't used it for a couple of years now. But I got this nice big, thick, is that about 4-inch strap that will actually hook onto the backrest here. Plus I have this other 1.5 inch strap that I put on, and actually I feed that underneath the seat pad and Velcro it in. That way it doesn't lift up or anything, and secures it really well. Plus the other thing I do too is I actually use cargo straps, just little thin 1-inch ones. You know, they're not rated for more than like, what was it, like maybe 100 pounds or something like that. And I hook them onto the D-rings on the tops here, and they actually go down and cross through the steel luggage rack, and then it hooks to another D-ring on the bottom front of the bag. So yeah, my bags aren't going anywhere. The other thing that I bought that, again, I don't keep it on the bike all the time, and you've seen me review these, that's the handlebar muffs, or handlebar mittens, or gloves, or whatever you want to call it. But you put them on your bike, and then you can stick your hands in them, and it keeps your hands nice and warm as you're riding through those, you know, freezing cold days. And I mean, literally, I've had these below freezing, and just in my bare hands, they stay nice and warm. If anything, they get a little chilled on the fingertips just because the handlebars themselves are cold and you're holding on to them. So, but short of that, yeah, I've ridden in teens in temperature. I think it was like 17 degrees, and my hands were nice and warm on these, even going down an interstate at 75 miles an hour. So these were nice. And those are a no-name brand handlebar mitten, glove, whatever you want to call them, that I got off of eBay. So I think I got them for like 20 bucks. So really cheap, but work very well. And then the last thing I have to show you guys is this. It is a cargo net. Okay, so if I'm traveling without this big huge bag, I can still put something on my luggage rack and then just hunker it down right here. Now I could keep this in my saddlebags. A lot of the times I'll just keep it over the backrest here and just hook it on just like that, and it's not going to blow off or anything. So I might, a lot of times, I actually just leave it here. But yeah, a lot of times I just take it off, you know, if I don't want someone to steal it, and I just throw it in my saddlebag. So there you go. That's pretty much a tour of my bike and all the modifications I've made, from the throttle lock and grips and covers and stuff like that, to my saddlebags and trunk bags and all the other stuff that I've added to this. I've had this bike now for 15 years. With the few occurrences, I've blown out a shifter rod, or the shifter push rod seal. I blew that out, so that got replaced. I had the leaky gas tank down here where the metal bracket that is bolted underneath the seat, it started rusting through there. Got that fixed. Short of standard maintenance of replacing brake pads and oil and coolant, I really don't think I've had any other issues other than, yeah, just those couple of things. So everybody, that's it. That's my Angel, okay? 2007 Kawasaki Vulcan 1600 Classic, almost completely stock except for bolt-on things. Engine guard, different hand grips, light bar, luggage rack, and some backrests and stuff like that. But otherwise, it's all stock. Okay? Oh, and the last thing that I did go with a car tire on the back. That's it. I've done nothing to the engine, nothing to the exhaust, nothing to the intake. All right, well, this is Mark and Angel saying thanks again for watching. Stay tuned next week. I want to make a shrimp dish for dinner, and I think it's going to be really good. It's going to be really nice because it will have a nice hot seared shrimp, but then I'll place that on a cold salsa. So you got the hot and cold, a little bit of heat from the salsa, maybe a little sweetness too. It ought to be good. So anyway, this is Mark saying thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys on the road. Bye.